Have you given any thought to what would happen if you went into your local grocery store and there was nothing on the shelves? Now, I'm not asking this question to put fear in your heart or anything like that. What I'm asking you to do is just think about what you would do if there was nothing for your family to eat from the grocery stores. Are you reliant on the grocery stores so much that you wouldn't be able to feed your family if an event like that happened? Now, we have no guarantees in life. Things like that can happen. And my whole vision here with this video is to help you to think through that before it happens, if it does happen, being prepared. So food security is an issue that a lot of us deal with. We want to be, especially if you're here as a homesteader, as a new homesteader or homestead dreamer, you are wanting to produce some of your own food so that you're less dependent on the grocery stores or other people for your food. So this video, I'm going to go over some things that you can do to prepare yourself and to start today. Like, you don't have to have acres and acres of land to prepare yourself. Also, there's a lot of reasons why being able to produce your own food is good for your life, for your family. And I'm going to talk about that as well. So we can't guarantee current food sources, right? We can't guarantee that there's going to be food on the shelves. So we need to be thinking ahead if something were to happen. So this is one reason why you want to have a food security plan. One way you can do that is learning how to garden, how to raise livestock, how to cook from scratch. And there's many, many things that you can do right now where you are to learn some of these skills. Another good reason to have this mindset of being prepared for lack of food on your grocery store shelves is that it's helpful for your community. Not only can you help yourself and your family, but you can be a part of a community that is producing food. Like, if all of the homesteaders decide to do this, then we have the ability to have food if something were to happen. Another important part to this is that we need to equip the next generations. So much of what our forefathers, our ancestors knew has been lost. Like, being able to grow a simple garden is so far removed from most of us that we don't even know where to start. And that is why I really encourage you to not only do this for your current situation, but for the next generations as well. Learn how to grow food, learn how to preserve food, learn how to cook food. And then teach it to your children, teach it to the next generations, because you will be able to not only help them physically by having healthy food to eat, but also mentally, because growing food and raising livestock, that is very good for the soul. So here's what you can do to improve your food security, okay? First, you want to assess your current food situation. Who do you rely on to provide food for you and your family? Is it like 100% the grocery store, or are you, buying from local people? What is the situation you are in right now? And it's no judgment at all if you are 100% buying from the grocery store. It's not, or from other people. That is not the point. The point of this is to just assess and figure out where am I? Where am I starting from? And if you are reliant solely 100% on other people for your food, what can you do next to take off some of that burden on other people to provide food for you? How can you take on some of the burden for yourself? So be honest about how much you rely on other people for your food. Start from that point and then make a plan. If you're currently 100% reliant on other people for your food, then make a goal to learn how to do something, how to grow something. It doesn't matter where you start. It just matters that you start. So be honest with yourself and then make a plan to start learning how to grow something. The best place to start with that is to start growing things that your family enjoys. Even if you're in a very small place, very small like a city or a balcony even, just start growing something just so you can get that process of knowing how food is grown started. And if you one day end up on, acres and acres of land, you can say to yourself, I started in my apartment on my balcony. If you are in a place where you can raise livestock like chickens or quail or rabbits, I highly recommend you start with something that's a little lower maintenance, like the three I just mentioned. Chicken, quail, rabbits, those are a little bit lower maintenance, although they require knowledge and they require knowing how to do it. It's it's easier to start with the smaller animals than it is to start with the bigger animals. So I don't generally recommend people start with like a cow or a goat if this is the very first interaction you have with livestock. Though I will say, if it's been your dream to own a cow and you want to start with a cow, go start with a cow. Don't let me stop you. But the larger the animal, the more problems can occur. So there can be more dangerous situations. There can be broken fences. There can be, more illness. And the larger the animal, the larger the problem generally. So start with something small like chicken, quail, rabbits, then move up to the bigger animals like goats and sheep and, cows, if you choose to do that. Even if you don't really produce very much food in the beginning, starting the learning process will have you way ahead of most people. If you only learn how to grow tomatoes or lettuce, you are still on your way to learning more, right? That's the beginning. You're on a journey. And you are also becoming less dependent on outside food sources. The more people we have who have this knowledge, the better our society will be. Homesteading has a lot to do with learning how to produce more than you consume. But if you're not able to produce your own food, you can at least be a part of the solution by starting somewhere. Growing food doesn't have to be complicated, so don't make it complicated. Plants want to grow. Seeds want to grow. It's up to you to learn how to provide the best conditions for growth, but that doesn't have to be complicated either. Get your hands in the dirt, literally, and learn how to grow things. If you have no way of growing or raising your own food, join a local garden club or community garden or homesteading group. That's a great place to start. Another way to get started is to come up with a food production plan. And you can split it up into these categories: veggies and herbs, fruits, protein, healthy fats, dairy. Okay, you can split it up more than that if you want. You could also add grains, but it's generally really hard to add grains in if you have a small scale situation, at least enough to make a big dent on your grain consumption, unless you just don't eat bread. But it's of course up to you if you want to add that as another option, as another category, but it does take a little bit more work. So there's that. If you're really motivated to produce most of the food that your family consumes, you'll need to do some math. Every family is going to be different, so do your research on how much garden space you need for every family member, or how many animals you need for every family member. So now what you grow will depend on what your family likes to eat. My advice to new gardeners is to pick 1 to 3 nutrient-dense veggies that your family enjoys to eat and get really, really good at growing them. So that may be that you grow these for a couple of years. It's not that you can't add other things, but get really good at growing up to 3 things that your family enjoys. If you have excess, then it's time to learn how to preserve your food so that it will last longer. Be sure to check out the interview I did with Melissa Norris about the 9 food preservation methods. It's really good, and I'll include a link in the description. If you grow a ton of food and it's way more than you can preserve or consume by your family, then it might be time to share with your community. You can use this opportunity to trade with your fellow gardeners, your fellow homesteaders, or to sell at your local farmer's market. But trading is fun, and homesteaders really like to do that. Now let's talk about animal-based protein sources. Eggs, of course, is one of the most popular protein sources and an excellent place to get started in animal-based proteins. How many chickens do you need to feed your family? This also depends on how much your family consumes. But if you think each member of your family eats 1 to 2 eggs a day and you have 3 adult people in your family, you'll need 3 to 6 eggs a day, right? But although young hens tend to lay 1 egg a day, that's not always year-round, and between the ages of 2 to 3, they will slow down in production. This is true of all hens, even the ones that are known for laying high amounts of eggs each year. So unless you plan to replenish your flock with new hens every year, you'll want to factor in this reduction in egg production. Also, another thing you want to factor in is that most chickens have slow to zero egg production periods because of reduced sunlight in the winter and molting seasons. Their first molt is usually between 16 and 18 months, and adult hens will molt about once a year after that. I would say for the average family, 1 to 2 chickens per adult family member will be fine if you are just getting started. You can learn more about chicken keeping by watching the interview I did with Dalia Monteroso. You can find the link in the description. Other animal-based foods, if you're just getting started, can be quail, ducks, turkeys, and rabbits. I would just encourage you to have a little experience with these animals before moving on to dairy animals like goats and cows and pigs. I'm not saying don't get them if you're just starting out. Just know they don't tend to be the best for beginners. The larger the animal, the more there tends to be challenges. Larger animals can push through fences, jump fences, destroy property, and sometimes they can be dangerous. But if you have the space and it's your dream, don't let me stop you. Just do your research before getting into large animals. And a more advanced topic in the food security is learning how to close the food system loop within your homestead. For example, if you're raising chickens for meat, the most common breed is the Cornish cross. And Freedom Rangers are also known as Rainbow Rangers or Red Rangers. These specialty crossbreeds are only available by purchasing through a hatchery. So if you want to get to the point where you're not relying on a hatchery, you'll need to choose a heritage breed like a barred Plymouth Rock or a White Rock or a dark Cornish. Or there's many breeds, and there are also some called dual purpose that are good for laying eggs as well as meat. However, these breeds take a lot longer to get to butcher weight. You can also choose to raise quail, ducks, and turkeys. Most of them will be a more closed loop source because you can incubate your own eggs, either by the broody adult female or by an incubator, like a electric incubator. The last thing I want to talk about is equipping the next generations. There is confidence in knowing how to take care of yourself. We need to teach the next generation skills that give them this confidence. We also don't want to lose these skills, even if future technologies will make it unnecessary. I think that we will always need to know how to grow our own food, but with AI and general robots coming in the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to have to be intentional about some of these things. So as we move into the era of AI and general robots, as humans, we are going to have to slow down and be more intentional about teaching the next generations how to grow food, how to preserve food, how to prepare food. Not only will it be good for their physical health, but also for their mental health, because literally getting your hands in the dirt is healing to the soul. It's healing to the mind. And I'm afraid we're starting to lose that connection. So the more we teach our kids about how beautiful it is to grow your own food and to show them the steps and to show them how to take care of their health physically and mentally and emotionally, the better our next generations will be. Okay, that's all I have for you. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to subscribe, I would really appreciate it. And be sure to like this video and share it with a friend. If you're listening to this on the podcast player, please also subscribe there as well and share this episode with your friends. All right, that's it. Talk to you next time. Hi there. Before you go, I wanted to make sure that you know about a company called Azure Standard. Azure Standard is a family-owned online grocery store that specializes in selling organic, non-GMO, and natural foods, as well as health and household products, delivered directly to customers through a free, independent food supply chain. Essentially, it's a platform to buy bulk, high-quality organic groceries without the need for a physical store visit. Azure reduces waste and saves you money by connecting directly with the independent growers and food producers, shortening the cycle and handling of your food. You have access to organic, fresh vegetables and dry bulk foods, grass-fed dairy and frozen meats, raw honey and non-GMO oils, packaged foods, nutritional supplements, and beauty products. So here's how it works. You'll create an account using the link that's in the description. I do get benefit from that. It's not more cost to you to use my link, but I do appreciate it if you use my link. Then you join a delivery drop location. Then you place your order, and then you meet the truck driver at the time and location that they give you, and then you take home your food. So it's really a great system, and you meet people as well as homesteaders. This is a great place to meet other homesteaders. Our family has been ordering from this company for a number of years, and we just love it. So I highly recommend you check it out. Remember to use the link in the description. That is my affiliate link, and I appreciate the support.